Birmingham Sports
with Ben Ellis.
This is BHBN Radio.
It is the Monday after from Birmingham Sports, BHBM Radio. It's Birmingham's Hospital Radio Network. And what we do is we bring live sports coverage to all of the wards and various care homes around the West Midlands. And on a Monday, even though we record it on a Sunday, we have a look back at the weekend's action. And it was quite the weekend indeed. We'll get to all of that in just a moment. I'm Ben Ellis. I'll be in the chair for the next however long this takes. And got a stellar panel with us this week. We have got a man who was at Villa Park for the dramatic finish yesterday. It is our very own Mike McGough. How you doing, Mick?
I'm good, thank you. Very well.
Well, we'll get to it all in just a moment. Mixed weekend in terms of the championship. Blues going down to a defeat. Also West Brom. Kim's here to discuss Blues. How you doing, Kim?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. I was in the studio yesterday trying to keep an eye on the Blues game as well as what was going on at Villa Park.
Lovely stuff. Jonathan Wimbush, fan of West Bromwich Albion, has pre-warned us he has a rant brewing, so we'll give him the floor in a few minutes. How you doing, John?
Yeah, not too bad. Be prepared for that rant. But I was also in the studio keeping an eye on things.
We will clear the decks for you when the time comes. And Paddy Silk is with us as well as looking back on the weekend's football. We can look ahead to his team, Manchester United, in action at Wolves tomorrow night. How you doing, Paddy?
Very good, thank you very much, Ben. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the last match of the Premiership, isn't it? Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So yes. I'm looking forward.
It is indeed. Now, we're going to start with the Premier League. Saturday lunchtime. It was live across the wards on the BHBM radio. And no matter what has happened in Australia or trying to get excited about go-karting, which now has a British world champion, that's fine. But nothing is going to dampen my spirits from the dramatic finish yesterday as Aston Villa beats Arsenal by 2-1 and for a few hours went second in the Premier League. It's down to third now, but Mick, you were there for BHBN. I mean, it was just marvellous, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, unbelievable atmosphere. I mean, I've witnessed some atmospheres there, especially Champions League nights and whatever, but yesterday it just went up a notch. It really did. And the last, when the board went up and it was 5 minutes, you could feel something was going to happen. You really could. And the crowd sensed it. And I think it transmitted itself to the players. And unlike Villa previously, they didn't just sit back and think, okay, we'll take the 1-1. And you could see them trying. And they got the reward, didn't they? And what a goal that was. I mean, it had everything, isn't it? You know, there was a good ball out wide, a good cross, a good header. Tillerman's almost put it in. Then there was a bit of a scramble. And then it just fell loose. And who was there? That little man, Bendia, and he killed it beautifully into the top corner. And, I was saying during the commentary, I felt the roof had come off. Not that there was a roof there, but, the old place just erupted. It was one of those special days, really. And it wasn't as if it was a smash and grab ball.
No, not at all.
I think, overall, I mean, the neutrals might say, yeah, probably a draw would have been fair. But to be honest, I think overall, and I'm not being biased there, I think Villa deserved it. We really did. We dominated that midfield, and that's, with their midfield with Rice and he was starting to dominate, but Villa just got it right in there. That they played the numbers game in there, and every player. I mean, I was thinking man of the match, and I think Maatsen got it for me for Villa, but. If I went through the old team from the goalkeeper or even up to Watkins when he was on, they all played their part during that game, and they were all 7+ at least 7. Yeah. And they've got to take that on now. They've got to take that on. I mean, the next game. What is it? We've got Basel in midweek. I mean, you're almost forgetting that now because you're thinking of the league games. But West Ham away. Never easy to go there, whatever form they're in. West Ham are still in the bottom 3 after today's games, but Villa really got to go there and build on that euphoria that they came away with at Villa Park. And if they can do, I mean, looking at Villa's next fixtures, you take Basel, we got some tough ones. We got West Ham away, we got Man U at home, and we all know we just, we always have a tough game against Man U and very rarely come out on top. Then we got Chelsea away, and then we got Arsenal away. I mean, if we're still up there, what a game that's going to be.
Absolutely.
And before the end of the year, then we've got Notts Forest at home, which will be our final game of this year. But, you can imagine if Villa are still up there after those 6 games, I think we can start believing we're going to do something good.
Absolutely. I mean, going back to yesterday, I mean, people can take their own moments from the game and because there was so much going on. For me, watching it, the point where I almost knew Villa were going to win this game was on 83 minutes when the cross was deflected and trickled along the line and went out. And a lot of people, you put your head in your hands. It's so close. Did you see Unai Emery's reaction at that moment? He was bouncing up and down like Zebedee from the Magic Roundabout.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, no, they're going to win this. They're not licking their wounds over a bit of bad luck here. They are going to go on and they're going to go and win this. And it's marvelous. It really is. And we were saying on another podcast the other day, Kim and John will attest to this because they were with me. What's been impressive about this run is that Villa are winning different types of match in this run. So if you think back to Leeds tried to bully them. They stood up to it. You come up to Brighton and Bournemouth, who like to play their football. Villa were up to that task as well. A scrappy derby against Wolves last week, and going head to head with the team top of the table, the team that everybody says are going to win the Premier League. It almost doesn't matter who the opposition are at the moment. Villa have got the will and the spirit to meet it head on, and they're coming out on top all the time at the moment.
Yeah, and it's a very good point actually, because you look at the game against Brighton, for instance, 2-0 down, and you're thinking, that's it, switch off the TV, whatever, and they came back and obviously won that, and like you alluded to before, the game against Wolves as well. That could have gone either way. To be fair to Wolves, they had their chances, and VAR saved Villa a couple of times there. But, they managed to get a positive result out of that. Go away to Brighton, like you say, never an easy place to go to. And then at home against, everyone's favourite for the league and put on a performance like that. It was, they were all different games, weren't they? They were all different types of game. And that's encouraging because, Villa are not just playing. You can see Unai Emery's influence on the team where, he's planning tactically for each game. And touch wood for Villa fans, it's all paying off. Every game he's getting it right more often than not, and we're reaping the rewards of that. And me and Alan were talking yesterday at the game, which we did for BHBN, and we're just saying, the turnaround from the first 5 games. It's just incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, we couldn't
score
a goal.
Yeah, if they hadn't started the season half asleep, they could be clear at the top now. I mean, that's not unrealistic. It really isn't. Paddy, I'll come to you on this as a relative neutral, although you do see a lot of Villa work for the team. What are your impressions of Villa and the run that they've been on?
I think that momentum from Brighton game. That's why I said to Mick. Mick just came to me and said, "I don't think we're going to win. You'll be having too many Guinnesses." And I said, "No, I just had a feeling in my bones that Villa were going to take that momentum on from Brighton into this game, which they did do, and I saw it draw up. I thought, but still, Villa were still playing really well. And Buendia lately has been coming on and doing the business, hasn't he? And he again, it's a great substitution. I just felt Villa were into it big time. I just thought Arsenal, when SA went off, I thought, you know what, the momentum, the crowd, everything was behind it all. And I think Aston Villa. I know people are going to say, is it early days? But are Aston Villa going to do a Leicester now? I know what you're going to say, Ben. It's too early. But if you get to the end of the year with Forest, and I know you're going to play Manchester United. I might get my team, which I worry about now because we'll be there then. But I think Villa, wow, I think Aston Villa playing so well. Morgan Rogers, I thought was brilliant.
Yeah,
but I think the one negative thing was about Watkins. He got getting the goals. I think Watkins. I know he got some goals against Brighton, but you need that natural goal scorer. I think you're just missing that. That's the only thing I'd say about Aston Villa.
Yeah, the only thing that yes, the number of goals are true. They're a fact, but his work rate is still top notch, and you've got to give that as well. I think what we're looking at here is if they can do another January like last year with Rashford, Asensio, Marlon coming in. If they can do something similar to that with some loan players in, just to bolster the squad for the run in. That, I mean, if it is 5 places, they're well in there. They're well ahead of the team in 6th place at the moment. So, and there is the Europa League as well. So yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I mean, I was thinking yesterday. I mean, I've made public before my dislike of Arsenal as a football club. The fans more than anything else, who are just the most obnoxious bunch in the world who just feel so entitled by everything. So it was great to shut them up. But I mean, we've got a Blues fan, we've got an Albion fan here. You know, unless you're a die in the wall, whatever they call it, you know, one-eyed fan of your team, which is fair enough with a rival of Aston Villa. But reasonable fans of every other club than Arsenal, I think, were pleased to see Villa win that game in the last minute yesterday. I think generally the consensus is that everybody is sick of Arsenal at the top of the table, and let's have some pressure put on them. But absolute, no doubt about that. As we rightly say, West Ham in the league on Sunday, 2:00 kick-off. Be interesting to see what the team selection will be in Basel on Thursday night as well. He might go do another go-ahead Eagles kind of team selection. They should finish in the top 8 as far as that's concerned, but you don't really want to take your eye off the ball. It is the Monday after from Birmingham Sport, BHBN Radio. We're going to have a look at an interesting day in the Championship when we come back.
BHBN Radio has been going since 1952. It is run entirely by volunteers, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Right now, BHBN needs friends like you to ensure it can broadcast to hospitals, care homes, and into the community for many more years to come. You can help by donating through our Just GoFundMe account. It's easy. Simply go to our website, bhbn.net, scan our GoFundMe QR code, and in a few clicks, you can help us out. If you're a taxpayer, you can give 25% more through gift aid at no extra cost to you.
BHBN Radio.
It is the Monday after from Birmingham Sport, BHBN Radio, and we're looking at the Championship action now, and it's the Jekyll and Hyde story again from Birmingham City. Kim, what happens when they get on the coach? What happens when when they leave the city limits and go somewhere else? What's the deal there? Because it's a conundrum that nobody can seem to figure out.
I know, and it is such a difference. I mean, okay, if the last few games at home we'd won by the odd goal, you could say, oh well, the home advantage is just enough to get them over the line. But we'd been winning games at home well, but I don't know. First of all, it was the slow start yesterday. But they just don't seem to close down as fast as they do at home. Now, whether that has administered enough of a kick up the backside to make a change against QPR on Tuesday, we'll have to wait and see. Also, of course, we might be without Alex Cochrane on Tuesday because he did come off having taken a knock. So it's whether or not Chris Davies is going to put out an unchanged team again, or if he's going to have a little tinker and see if he can change it round a bit. But yeah, it's that away form again, and of course we've just seen exactly the same with West Brom.
Absolutely, I spent a good hour last night thinking about this, and for a non-Blues fan, that's like a week, right? Because normally you wouldn't care. but I honestly thought the difference between the home form and the away form. I watched the Watford game the other night. Kim and Paddy were at that. I thought that was a great game in tough conditions. Watford played their part, but for me, the one thing I've noticed the difference between home and away, and you can all have an opinion on this, is that at home everybody's driving forward. It's going through midfield. It's Tommy Doyle. It's Peck. It's everybody going on. Even the fullbacks bomb on. The likes of Iwata and what have you, and Jay Stansfield runs forward with a lot of pace. Away from home, it just seems to be, and we saw this at West Brom in the Derby game, get the ball out to Damari Gray. And that just seems to be the only real tactic, Kim. That's the only thing I can say that's the difference between the two. And away from home, you need more than that.
Yeah, and there's a certain sort of hesitancy when we're away as well. I mean, okay, you could argue that Beadle could have done better with the second goal, but to counteract that, he made some very, very good saves as well, which really did keep Blues in the game. And again, Blues were better in the second half, but they've got to start like that as well away, because you can't play half a game, which I'm sure John will say about West Brom as well.
We haven't let him speak yet on anything because what we're doing, we're letting him contrast. We're letting him just have his go in a bit, and which I'm sure will be absolutely epic. Paddy, you see plenty of Blues. I say you're at the Watford game the other night. Can you put your finger on what the difference is between Blues home and Blues away?
I mean, Kim, you're right, myself and Kim were there the other night, and we were, despite the weather, despite the rain, Birmingham I thought were brilliant. One touch from, and Damari Gray was the difference. And I know yesterday scored a great goal, but I don't know what it is. I think Southampton, again, I talked to a Blues fan today. Southampton are Premiership, aren't they? They've come from the Premiership, like Ipswich, and we saw Ipswich at the very start of the team, didn't we, Kim? And these are teams that come down from the Premiership still strong and have strengthened. And that's the only problem, I think. As Blues have just got to deal with these sort of teams that come from the Premiership. They're still strong. And I think they got swept away yesterday by just clinical goals. But Blues did stand off some of the... I thought they stood off some of the goals. Didn't close down enough for me yesterday, Birmingham.
I thought that tackle was naughty in the second half. I don't know if you saw this on the highlights. It was really 3-1. The game was... effectively over. There was and I forget the name, so I apologise. There was a 2-footed tackle. I think it was on Tommy Doyle in the middle of the park, and I thought that was naughty, quite frankly. And it heightens the case for some form of VAR in the Championship because in the Premier League that would have been upgraded to a red card. There's no question about that. Mick, from a relatively neutral point of view, what do you make of Blues?
Yeah, I just think they're still finding the feet in the Championship. I mean, you think last year they had everything their own way. I mean, they'd go away to grounds, they'd still be the loudest noise in that ground. Now they're going to grounds like Southampton and Ipswich and whatever, and even though they take a great away support, they really haven't got that backing from the crowd, and I still think that I don't think Blues are Premiership ready yet. No, I mean, and I think they need another year in the Championship to just build again and just get a feel for what it's like, because the Championship is so tough. It's such a tough league. Everyone says that it's one of the every game is competitive. And it's just so difficult to get out, and unless you've got a bit of momentum towards the end of the season, you're just sitting out, within the top six or just outside it. You've got to be looking at playoffs, haven't you? And I mean, I know Coventry stumbled yesterday, but to usually get one team that start to run away with it. But even at home, I mean, Blues, there was they're not sweeping teams away. And every game is really competitive, and also that they played, was it Wednesday, and then they've had to travel and play Saturday as well, And I think the squad's, they've got to look at the squad and the quality of the squad as well. I mean, they've got a good 14 players or whatever. But if they're playing twice a week in that league, it's tough, very tough. And I think they just. I mean, Davis is not daft. He knows what it is, and I'm sure the owners as well realise that it's going to take another season for Blues to impose themselves in that league. And I think that's where they are, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think they will have good results and have bad results. And I'm not saying that they're out of it, because they still could get into the playoffs. And Blues, and they're quite capable of putting a major run together and getting right up there. But every time they win a couple of games, they seem to come unstuck, and that seems to be their season so far, as far as I can see.
I think that's a very fair assessment from Mr. Mike McGough. Measured and considered, and didn't you? To be fair to you, for those 2 minutes, you didn't sound like a Villa fan, Mick. I'll give you that. So that was very good. Right now, the anomaly that is the fixture list and the fixture computer decided that within the space of 3 or 4 days, the fixtures for Birmingham City and West Bromwich Albion would be reversed. That means that Blues are going to QPR this midweek, and West Brom are going to Southampton. But West Brom were at QPR on Saturday. Everybody, you can put your feet up for the next couple of minutes, because Jonathan Wimbush
has
got a rant.
Well, I honestly don't know what to say about West Bromwich Albion.
Time out. You can't say, I've got a rant, right, and then start with, I don't know what to say. Come on, John. Come on.
Rewind.
Second attempt. Jonathan Wimbush, go.
Okay, I do know what to say about West Bromwich Albion. There we go. I mean, a 3-1 defeat to QPR, the tactics that Ryan Mason put out, it was awful. It was absolutely awful. Varane, he scored just before half-time. West Bromwich Albion just didn't seem like they were at London for the game. It was like they just didn't turn up. And, yes, he rewarded the 4 substitutes from the Swansea game that pulled that one out of the bag, that 3-2 comeback victory at the Hawthorns. He gave them all a start. But it seemed like he changed the formation a little bit to a 4-4-2, and it just didn't work because, of course, Bielik and Mepham, they were being run ragged all game. Maja and Hegebo, for the most part, were ineffective, although Hegebo did manage to get another goal, which he's in a bit of a purple patch at the moment. But the tactics were just really annoying from a West Brom point of view. I actually felt sorry for the fans that travelled down there to Loftus Road to watch that. Strictly speaking, down in 16th as well with 8 defeats, 4 draws, 7 victories. The Swansea game was a bit of false hope for West Bromwich Albion, because there were a few West Bromwich Albion fans that was like, this is it, this is the turning point. And there was others that was like, it's just papered over the cracks. Unfortunately, it's the latter group that seem to be correct in this situation. And really, I'm dreading Southampton after seeing them beat Birmingham with Adam Armstrong and Finn Azaz. I really do fear for West Bromwich Albion. And in his days at Middlesbrough, Finn Azaz does come up with a goal against West Bromwich Albion when he was a Middlesbrough player. So I do actually fear for Albion at the moment.
And watch Fisher as well. He was behind so much of the activity in front of goal yesterday, but he's one that definitely needs keeping under control.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why did he change the goalkeeper?
Honestly, I have no idea, because that was a bit of a surprise when I got the team sheet. I mean, both myself and Kim was at the studio when the teams were announced for both Blues and Albion. And I did say to Kim, he's changed the goalkeeper. And he put Wildsmith in place of Griffiths. And it was that and the four substitutes from the Swansea game that he had swapped over. Although Nat Phillips wasn't in the squad, so we don't know if he's picked up a knock and he's out for a while. But the others, it just seemed to be ineffective. And Wildsmith, I mean, the second goal, he was absolutely terrible, letting that one in. There was another moment, I believe, where QPR just broke through the centre and he bombed. He was in two minds whether to come out and get the ball or get back in goal, and he was sort of caught between the two, and they shot over the bar. Fortunately for Albion, but it was moments like that says to me that Griffiths probably would have been better in goal, and he has been doing well, Josh Griffiths, making some good saves over the course of the season. That I would have kept Wildsmith in goal.
Yeah, I messaged you yesterday evening that the second and third goals in particular were shocking, and then you saw them on TV on Saturday night, and you said you were right; they are absolutely shocking.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't like calling a player out, but for the third goal, George Campbell did something defensively that if a player for my team did that, I would be very vocal saying I never want to see him wear my team shirt again. Now, for those who haven't seen it, what he does is out by the touchline, he tries to hold up the play, tries to defend the space, jockey against the player, and he just stands there and allows the QPR lad to spin him. No strength, no determination, no desire to stop him. And they just get themselves into the box, and across the 6-yard line, it's a tap-in. And I'm like, that's disgusting defending. It's cowardly. I'm not an Albion fan. I was furious, right? How do you feel having seen one of your players do that?
I completely agree with you, Ben. To be honest, when I was watching it, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Part of me was hoping that the highlights were somewhat doctored to make Campbell look like that, but no,
it's not John. It's not the BBC.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not the BBC with an edit job. It was on ITV.
It was on ITV, yeah. So I couldn't believe he'd done that. I was like, your job is to defend the goal, and you just gave it straight to QPR when Albion were 2-1 down as well. Hegebo had only just scored and got Albion back into the game, and then Campbell does that, and it pretty much killed any hope of getting anything from that game. But 16th in the league, and we're no disrespect to Derby County. They lost their derby against Leicester yesterday, but we're below Derby.
Yep.
And for me, as an Albion fan, because we do have a bit of a history with Derby, that's not on.
Okay, that's a good place to leave, Jonathan, with his rant there. We're going to come back in just a moment. We're going to look ahead as well as look back on the latest action for Wolverhampton Wanderers after this on the Monday after.
BHBN Radio has been going since 1952. It is run entirely by volunteers 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Right now, BHBN needs friends like you to ensure it can broadcast to hospitals, care homes, and into the community for many more years to come. You can help by donating through our Just GoFundMe account. It's easy. Simply go to our website, bhbn.net, scan our GoFundMe QR code, and in a few clicks, you can help us out. If you're a taxpayer, you can give 25% more through gift aid at no extra cost to you.
BHBN Radio.
It is the Monday after from Birmingham Sport, BHBN Radio. Looking at Wolves now, who take on Manchester United on Monday night. So it is tonight as you're watching this, 8 o'clock kickoff. Now, mentioned a little bit earlier on another podcast that I do with Kim and John and our own Rob Richards as well. I played this audio the other day, and I'm going to play it again here on this platform. This was Rob Edwards in the post-match press conference after Wolves had just lost 1-0 at Nottingham Forest. I think this is staggering.
Really disappointed with tonight, Adam. compared to the levels that we set on Sunday. I'll try not to keep reflecting back to the weekend, but it's hard not to when it was only 3 days ago. It was almost like the opposite tonight. I asked the players at half time, are you scared? I asked them that.
I asked the players at half time, are you scared? Mick, I don't think I've ever heard a manager say that in a post-match press conference. I'm sure plenty have said it to their players at half-time when it's not going particularly well. But to come out and say it, that to me, that says he's running out of cards to play already, and he's only just got there.
Yeah, and I did hear that, and it, funny enough, TalkSport did a little piece on it as well, and they were questioning whether he's got the dressing room with him. And to be honest, at the Villa game, people were saying, "Oh, I think he's got the players playing for him. He's doing all this," but he's been there now. He's still winless, and he gets to a stage where he's obviously trying to change the tactics in training. And initially, when a new manager comes in, the players will go along with it. But if the results are not coming, the players can quickly turn and thinking, "Well, hang on, this is not working." And I think he's got to that stage where the players are going, "Well, it's not working. What he's trying to tell us to do, and what he's trying to impart onto us, it's not having the desired effect." And I think it almost seems that by him saying that publicly as well, has probably not done him any good. And the players, they're going to be talking amongst themselves, saying, "This guy, he's not going to get us out of this." And I don't know, we all say, well, it's down to the players, but players being what they are, they need guidance. They need belief in what they're doing. And I don't see that with Wolves, unfortunately. And, I can't see them. I can't see them winning the game, to be honest.
No,
I really can't.
No, it's
Derby.
The Derby points total is the target.
Yes, it was 11, wasn't it? Yeah,
it has to be. Paddy, it's your team they're up against on Monday night, and it's a no-win for Man United, really, because if they do win, well, Wolves haven't won a game yet, and if they don't win, it's the Amorim talk starts coming out again.
Well, exactly. I mean, like you said, we struggled against West Ham on Monday night. And to be fair, again, the talk was out again about Amorim and his tactics, and Roy Keane had a word to say, and Gary Neville did about them not going for the jugular, and they didn't, and that's typically United. But this is an opportunity for them. If they beat Wolves, are they back in it again? And with the points up there as well, if they'd beaten West Ham, they would have crept up again. But again, Wolves again, you're right. I mean, that's staggering. I mean, Rob Edwards is no Sir Alex Ferguson. You don't say those sort of things at half time to get the team things. So it's staggering from Wolves. And also, they're without, it's have to reshuffle the pack, and the Wolves manager, and he just come in, he's dealing with injuries, so they've got their problems. But going back to my team, Ruben Amorim, I struggle with him anyway. I'm not a big fan, this, and I think it's one of the two of the players are going off to the African nations now. Mazarari, I think, is off soon. I think he's already gone. You've got Aiden Heaven. I think he was still in heaven at the West Ham game, to be fair. He's going to be replaced by Dillit. I'm not a big fan of him either. But United, if they beat Wolves, are they back in it? It's not going to convince me, but they'll have to. But if they get a draw against Wolves, then that's a victory for Wolves, really. That steps them up. But I do only see really United win, to be fair. But and I'm glad we'll probably meet playing Wolves and Arsenal or yourselves now, to be fair, we'll at Aston Villa, because I think that'll be a difficult one.
Kobbie Mainoo coming out this week saying he wants to leave. Now, that story has been masked by the Mo Salah thing that coming out of Liverpool in the last 24 hours. But, I mean, what it does with Man United, it sums it up. Nobody should want to ever leave Manchester United. That should be the pinnacle of their career.
Absolutely, and I've said, and it's brilliant. And I'm glad you said that, Ben, because it's the history of this club, the tradition. I always go on about it. You should be lucky, very lucky, to play for this football club and become like those greats, Bobby Charlton, George Best, Duncan Edwards. But is he a one-season wonder? I don't know.
We don't know. This is the thing. Amorim won't play him. We don't know. I mean, he was a big part of England in the Euros last summer. He's almost certainly now not going to go to the World Cup because Tuchel won't play him if he's not playing regularly, so we don't know. And I do have to move this on because we are approaching the end. We've only got a couple of minutes left. Obviously, the World Cup draw was made on Friday. The big takeaways from that is England and Scotland's group. Scotland draw Brazil again in a World Cup group, and if you know your World Cup history, that they seem to play Brazil every time they're in a World Cup to Scotland. So much so that if Brazil win this game, they actually get to keep Scotland forever. So there'll be a lot riding on that. England, yeah, okay. Croatia, the first one looks like it's going to be tough. I'm going to come to Mick and Paddy. Obviously, you don't want to count your chickens with the playoffs coming up, but your guys, Republic of Ireland. But how do you feel about who you would play if you got there?
Oh, yeah. Well, I can't even look past the playoffs, to be honest, because it's tough. It's going to be tough for Ireland, and I don't think they should even be looking at it yet, because I'd rather them just concentrate on those games and get through that. I wouldn't want to look beyond that, to be honest, as an Irish fan.
The only thing I can say about the draw is I'm glad I missed it, because I was out. I was out on Friday night. I was actually at a circus, believe it or not. I was at a circus at the NEC while the circus was going on in Washington, and that giving Trump a peace prize. Infantino. Imagine thinking, wow, wouldn't it be good if we could have Sepp Blatter back? Infantino just makes your skin crawl. But
Ben, just to come in on the Republic of Ireland, those last few games where they scored 5, I think it is. I don't know I'm trying to think of the player's name now, who scored those goals now, has got us to this stage. I think, again, that momentum, I think Ireland are on the, and that's not, as long as they get through to the World, which I think they will do, I think it's going to be the ghost of Jack Charlton, that team of 1990, mate. So, that's what I feel it'll be. So they might even play England in the quarterfinals. Whoa!
Yeah, Troy Parrott is who you were thinking of, Paddy.
Yeah, that's the one.
Troy Parrott. There, I repeated it like a parrot would. So there we go. Right, it's going to be a big midweek of football, which we'll keep you in touch with from BHBM Radio. Next weekend's going to be a big one as well. West Brom at home against Sheffield United on Friday night. Jonathan Wimbush is going to be there, bringing us the reports. Kim's going to be at Blues against Charlton on Saturday. I believe. You up? You're in the studio. Who's got your gig? Who's got your seat? They'll think you've been sacked.
Yeah, I know. Connor's got my seat.
All right, fair enough. And next Sunday at West Ham, Ed and Rob are going to be there covering West Ham against Aston Villa. Keep checking out our YouTube channel and our TikTok as well. The numbers are great. We love them. Thank you very much. And keep supporting BHBN. And don't forget the appeal as well to keep things going forward. Jonathan Wimbush, Kim Smith, Mike McGough, Paddy Silk, I'm Ben Ellis. This has been the Monday After, and we'll see you next week.
Birmingham Sports
with Ben Ellis. This is BHBN Radio.